This evening, first, Budget 2026 in focus. President Irfaan Ali lays out a people-centered plan from cash grants and higher pensions to new support for women-led businesses and persons with special needs. Plus, cameras catching thousands, more than 6,500 motorists hauled before the courts as traffic cameras crackdown on illegal third-lane driving nationwide. Also, relief for shoppers and craftsmen. Local jewelers welcome the removal of VAT on locally made jewellery, with prices expected to fall and industry set for a boost. Meanwhile, a major drug case before the court. 2 former prison officers remanded after police seized more than 340 pounds of cannabis in Berbice. And abroad, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer heads to China, aiming to reset relations and draw new investments for Britain. These stories and more coming up. Stay with us. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for January 28, 2026. I'm Berbice. Thank you for joining us. First up, President Dr. Mohammed Irfaan Ali has described Budget 2026 as a people-centered blueprint for inclusive and resilient growth and has outlined it as the first major phase of the government's 5-year development plan. Speaking during a special Budget 2026 discussion with business women leaders and economists on Monday night, and in a national address on Tuesday, the president said the budget is designed to improve living conditions, expand opportunities, and uplift vulnerable groups across Guyana.
Policy formulation is at a macro scale and sometimes it's not understood at the level of the community. It's not understood at the level of different segments of the population. So in the next 5 years, you will see policies that are correlated directly to the changes in our economy, the changes in the lifestyle of our people, the changes in the community and society, and of course in the economy in general. So Budget 2026 is positioned with the people at the center. The measures are designed to ensure greatest impact on people, to ensure that the greatest level of economic wealth is directly attributed to the improvement of people's life, their living conditions, creating more opportunities for disposable income, and a higher quality of life.
President Ali highlighted targeted measures for persons with disabilities and children with special needs, including improved accessibility in public spaces, expanded care centers, and the construction of modern special needs schools in every region. He said these initiatives aim to build dignity, independence, and long-term support systems. The president also underscored expanding opportunities for small and women-led businesses, pointing to the establishment of the Ghana Development Bank, which will provide interest-free, collateral-free financing alongside business incubation and mentorship.
The Ghana Development Bank in Budget 2026 provide the first set of resources for the establishment and deployment of this institution. But what does it address? It's not only about access to that seed capital. It's also about how do we utilize the leverage of this seed capital now to unlock more resources. So the bank is going to give you, for example, $3 million as your seed capital, interest-free and collateral-free. So that is the first thing. You now have opportunity with a good business plan, and I know you'll follow up on that, with a good business plan to have the opportunity now to earn your first loan without collateral and interest-free. We have also negotiated with the commercial bank, leveraging that $3 million to unlock another $20 million with the same fiscal incentive like the low-income borrower. So that if, for example, your project is $20 million, you get $3 million from the development bank. The $17 million you will now get unlocked with low collateral requirement and interest rate that is less than 4%. So you're going to save, you're going to first get this loan that is interest-free and collateral-free, and that will leverage now a loan that you could have never gotten before at the interest rate that will be about 7 points below what you would have paid having a commercial loan.
Significant household support measures were also outlined, including a $100,000 national cash grant for adults, an increased $60,000 Because We Care cash grant, a new $20,000 transportation allowance, higher pensions, and expanded public assistance. Collectively, these initiatives, the president said, are expected to inject more than $100 billion directly into households. Tax relief, healthcare expansion, education reform, housing support, and indigenous development were also highlighted as key pillars of Budget 2026. President Ali said the budget is focused not only on economic growth, but on ensuring that every Guyanese benefits from national development, reaffirming the government's commitment to putting people first. Moving on, more than 6,500 motorists have been flagged for illegally using road shoulders as a third lane, according to police data from SRIS system. Dale Jarvis explains the crackdown and penalties.
More than 6,500 motorists have been caught illegally on camera using roadway shoulders as a third lane, as the Guyana Police Force intensifies enforcement through its Safe Road Intelligence System. Police said the violations were recorded along monitored roadways and involved drivers unlawfully traveling on the outer or shoulder lane, treating it as an additional traffic lane. Authorities warned that the practice poses serious safety risks, disrupts traffic flow, and significantly increases the likelihood of collisions. According to the Guyana Police Force, illegal third-lane offences are not ticketable and must be prosecuted before a magistrate. Each case captured by SRIS cameras is reviewed by trained officers, with evidence analysed and prepared for court. To date, 585 cases have already been heard, resulting in fines and in some instances the suspension of driver's licenses. The remaining matters are various stages of review and prosecutions. Police say that they are strengthening prosecutorial captivity to accelerate the processing of SRIS-related cases as enforcement expands nationwide. Officers have also been using electronic tablets to display videoed evidence of infractions to drivers during the charge preparation process. The Guyana Police Force has again urged motorists to obey traffic laws, noting that SRIS remains a key tool in improving road safety, accountability, and reducing traffic-related incidents across the country. Reporting for Headline News Update, Dale Jarvis.
Thanks, Dale. Local jewelers have welcomed the government's decision to remove value-added tax on locally manufactured jewelry, describing the measure as a boost for consumers and the domestic jewelry industry. The announcement was made during the presentation of Budget 2026 in the National Assembly, where Minister within the Office of the President with responsibility for finance, Dr. Ashni Singh, said the policy will reduce costs and enhance the competitiveness of Ghana's jewelry sector. Proprietors in the industry say the move will allow immediate savings to be passed on to customers. Owner of King's Jewelry, Harinan Prasad, noted the removal of VAT will help local jewelers better compete internationally while supporting local goldsmiths and craftsmen.
We're very excited at the removal of the VAT on jewelry. For a number of years, Guyana is known for the jewelry all over the world. And the removal of this VAT, obviously 40% off now, will make us more competitive. We are going to definitely be able to compete with any other country because now this saving will now go directly to the customers. So we think it's really forward-thinking action by the government that invest in the people of Guyana, the creativity, the craftsmanship, the jewelers, the goldsmiths. It's been a number of years that we're known for the jewelry, and now obviously being competitive, it's definitely going to put us back on the market.
Similarly, LSM Jewelers owner and vice chairman of the Ghana Gold Jewelers Association, Vreed Prasad, said VAT had long been a challenge for the industry, and that its removal will result in an expected 14% reduction in consumer prices. Jewelers also pointed out that gold remains a popular investment choice among Guyanese, and the VAT exemption is likely to stimulate local purchases and increase sales to tourists seeking authentic Guyanese jewelry. The policy forms part of the government's wider effort under Budget 2026 to support local manufacturing, strengthening small and medium-sized businesses, and ease costs for consumers. Stick around when we return. Former prison officers remanded after 345-pound cannabis bust and B fields of fire road construction underway. Abundant stars threaten project timeline.
Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Habit Malls make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services. 316 Middle Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. Construction has officially begun on the Bay Field Sapphire Road as part of the government's ongoing efforts to improve road connectivity and reduce commuting challenges for residents. During a site inspection on Tuesday, Minister of Public Works Bishop One Edgehill said progress on the project is being hampered by abandoned stalls encroaching on the roadway shoulders. He noted that while the ministry has worked closely with the vendors to relocate businesses into new constructed tarmacs, 2 unoccupied stalls remain a major obstacle.
Wherever we have encroachments, where people are plying their business or selling, we have sought to build tarmacs that we could transition them from the roadway and the encroachment to these tarmacs so they could continue to ply their trade, whether it's a fish and chips business, whether it's they're selling groceries or greens or whatever. So nobody is being moved and put out of business. We have a situation, however, where these 2 stalls, which have been unoccupied for a long period, and we've been trying to make contact with the owners or the persons concerned, and we have not been able to do so. But right now, we have a need, and a great need, and this has to be addressed swiftly.
According to the minister, the structures are preventing long-haul trailers transporting sheet piles from safely turning off Dennis Street, a critical step in advancing the work. Despite repeated attempts, the owners of the stalls have not been contacted. Minister Edgehill stressed that the government's approach prioritizes consultation and avoids displacing livelihoods. However, he warned that if the owners fail to come forward, contractors have been instructed to proceed with removal to allow the project to continue.
We must have these 2 encroachments here removed so that we'll be able to get the piles in. And the reason why I'm doing the live, anybody concerning these, come and talk to us, let us know, because with immediate effect, we want to be able to dismantle this. If you're the owner, come and collect your materials. If you want them, because once we dismantle them, we have to discard, because we can't allow this, but we must be able to get the trucks to turn in.
The B Field works will mirror the road construction undertaken at E Field Sapphire. At the same time, additional upgrades are planned for the wider area, including expanding Dennis Street to 2 lanes on each side of the drainage canal. The minister also assured residents that Sapphire remains a key focus under Budget 2026, reaffirming the government's commitment to infrastructure development within the community. In other news, 2 former members of the Ghana Prison Service have been remanded to prison after being charged in connection with the possession of more than 340 pounds of cannabis for the purpose of trafficking. Sarafina Pichetti and Shame Bryan, both residents of Smithfield, New Amsterdam, appeared on Tuesday before Magistrate Michelle Matthias at the Blairmont Magistrates Court, where they were formally charged. The women pleaded not guilty and were remanded to prison until their next court appearance in February. The charges stem from a police stop-and-search operation conducted around 7:20 a.m. last Saturday along the number 10 public road, West Coast, Berbice. During the search of the vehicle in which the women were traveling, Police discovered several brown salt bags and black garbage bags in the trunk containing bulky parcels wrapped in plastic. The substance, which included leaves, seeds, and stems, were later weighed in their presence and amounted to over 345 pounds of cannabis. Police told the court the seizure was part of an ongoing intelligence-led operation targeting drug trafficking routes in Berbice and beyond, describing the find as significant. Prosecutors also disclosed that Chetty is already before the court on a similar narcotics charge dating back to 2022, when she was allegedly caught with cannabis while employed at the New Amsterdam prison. Investigations into the matter are ongoing. Don't go away after the break. Mozambique floods, rescue operations ongoing for stranded communities, and Trump calls for de-escalation and honest probe after ICE killings in Minnesota.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Carpet smalls make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world.
Good evening, I'm Dominic Gittins. Tonight, CARICOM warns that Haiti's political infighting risks empowering gangs and undermines its fragile transition. Britain's Prime Minister heads to China to reset ties. U.S. protest grows after a second fatal federal immigration shooting, and rescue efforts continue after floods in Mozambique. We begin in the Caribbean. The Caribbean community has voiced serious concern over infighting within Haiti's executive, warning it is undermining an already fragile political transition. CARICOM said divisions inside the Transitional Presidential Council, whose mandate expired February 7, 2026, risk empowering criminal gangs. The bloc urged Haitian leaders to reach consensus, stressing unity is essential for restoring security, holding elections, and stabilizing Haiti. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer is heading to China to meet President Xi Jinping. Starmer says he wants to attract new investment for Britain and reset relations with Beijing. Al Jazeera's Katrina Yu reports.
Firecrackers and pigeon whistles, sounds rarely heard in modern-day Beijing, greet visitors at the Sound Art Museum. It's the first museum in the world focusing on sound and explores the role it plays in art, history, and music. British-Chinese artist Colin Siyu Chinnery co-founded the museum.
Sound is very flexible, and to create projects with sound, you can actually do it in all kinds of ways, in all kinds of settings. And it's the flexibility that goes with flux.
He says that flexibility matters at a time of global change. He'll be watching UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer's visit to China closely. Chinnery says he's travelled between the two countries since 1979, witnessing diplomatic highs and lows.
It really feels really important for me, and it's a ray of sunshine, it's a ray of hope that there's going to be more positive dialogue.
This museum is a unique collaboration between a British and Chinese person, a shared space built on creativity and exchange. But beyond these walls, the relationship between London and Beijing remains complicated and strained.
Real national security threats.
Last year, Starmer referred to China as a national security risk. Concerns about spying, alleged human rights abuses in Xinjiang, and a crackdown on democratic freedoms in Hong Kong, a former British colony, have eroded trust. Beijing rejects those accusations, saying the UK is interfering in its internal affairs. Business leaders warn disengagement comes at a cost.
The UK exports 3 times the amount that it does to Japan, to China, and the value of the economic relationship is just too important for the UK not to engage. China's the world's second largest economy, and the ties are just so strong already in so many different areas.
A business delegation is traveling with Starmer, who's expected to meet President Xi Jinping. Beijing wants to portray itself as a stable and pragmatic partner for G7 nations. Chinnery hopes the visit will also expand space for cultural dialogue.
As soon as the political barriers lighten, the whole rhetoric changes, in the media and in people's perceptions. Perceptions change when the rhetoric changes.
The signal coming from China, it's ready to deepen practical cooperation, even as disagreements remain. Katrina Yu, Al Jazeera, Beijing.
US President Donald Trump says he wants his federal immigration officers to de-escalate a little bit. Protesters across the US are calling for the arrest of federal officers involved in the shooting of American citizen Alex Pretty and Renee Good in Minnesota. Al Jazeera Manuel Rapallo reports.
When do we want it? Now. What do we want?
Demonstrators inside the Minnesota state capitol.
Whose house is this? Our house. Whose house is this? Our house. Whose house?
They're calling for accountability over the deaths of 2 Minneapolis city residents at the hands of federal immigration agents.
We are demanding that they bring charges against the killer officers. We want the identity of the officers who killed Alex Pretty. We want justice. We know the federal government is not investigating. They are lying to the American people. They are denying us justice. It is time for the state to do their job. Say it, do your job. Do your job.
2 Border Patrol agents fired at Alex Pretty during Saturday's fatal shooting in Minneapolis. This, according to a Homeland Security timeline sent to Congress that makes no mention of the 37-year-old brandishing a weapon, contradicting early claims by senior White House officials that Pretty posed a direct threat to officers. On Tuesday, U.S. President Donald Trump said he would personally be watching over an investigation into the shooting death of Alex Pretty. The U.S. president sounded optimistic that tensions might be calming down as he announced that White House border czar Tom Homan was sent to coordinate directly with state and local leaders in Minnesota.
Tom Homan, as you know, is in Minnesota now. He's meeting with the governor and he's meeting with the mayor, I think, later. And I hear that's all going very well. We're doing a big investigation. I want to see the investigation. I'm going to be watching over it. I want a very honorable and honest investigation. I have to see it myself.
Public pressure is rising from both Democrats and Republicans as federal immigration agents in Minnesota face lawsuits and accusations of civil rights abuses. Many now calling for the resignation of Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem as her agents face allegations of racial bias, warrantless arrests, and other violations.
We're just asking for justice and transparency and accountability to happen where we're not seeing it from the top levels of our nation. And so it's just, we also don't feel safe.
Even as demonstrations continue, many here are hoping the tensions in the city will soon begin to ease. The sense we get here in Minneapolis is that both the state and federal government are finding some common ground. There's cooperation where there was none before, but out here in the streets, there's still anger and calls from activists for more protests, including a national shutdown being organized for the end of the week. A partial withdrawal of federal immigration agents reportedly began on Tuesday, with state and local leaders promising to continue to pressure the White House for a full withdrawal of all federal agents from the state. Manuel Rapallo, Al Jazeera, Minneapolis.
Rescue efforts are continuing in Mozambique after severe floods caused by weeks of heavy downpour. The country's southern and central regions have been hit particularly hard. At least 12 people have been killed this month, and nearly 700,000 others have been displaced. Al Jazeera's Harold Mutasso reports.
Amphibious vehicles are essential in this part of Mozambique. This one is taking food to people displaced by recent floods. Several kilometers of the road have been washed away by the floodwaters. This is Xai-Xai, the provincial capital of Gaza province in the south. It's one of the worst affected areas.
Most of the challenge is on the access. For example, Xai-Xai is flooded. So even to move from Xai-Xai to another side where are the accommodation centers, is difficult. So we are trying to use boats, we are using the amphibious, we're using air, but have been really challenging. Not even for the humanitarian actors, but also for individual people that are here and they want to continue their trips to another part of the country.
The humanitarian aid is coming here. Emergency accommodation shelters for tens of thousands of people whose homes are still submerged. People like Celeste Mukave and her extended family.
We were all scared, especially the children. We had to tell them that where we were not safe, so we came to a safer place.
Global foreign aid cuts have stretched already limited resources. This is a communal kitchen. There are 15 of them in this camp, and some women are put in charge of the cooking. This woman here, she's making what's called in this region either sadza or nchima. It's maize meal and hot water brought to the boil into a sticky pulp. When it's time to eat, people line up and they each get a plate. The food is mainly from donations or humanitarian agencies. Families here need food, shelter, sanitation facilities and counseling. Floods happen often in Mozambique, but people here say the one this season is the worst since the year 2000, when nearly 700 people were killed. Harumutasa Al Jazeera, Shokwe District, Mozambique.
Thanks, Dominique. This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3D weather forecast. And that's it to D2 Headline News for this Wednesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourselves and each other.